Hello and welcome to the New Beginnings Week 6. Can you believe that we are at the last week of New Beginnings? I understand what my girlfriend Kiki meant when she did her Big Dream series and we got to the 7 weeks. She said it was she felt so sad. And I really am having some bittersweet type of feelings about this because I really have been enjoying each week. I have been enjoying getting all the comments back from the ladies. I have enjoyed how each of my presenters have literally have just been pointing to you all and how you have been reaching out to the ladies and following them and all the wonderful things that have come out of this New Beginning series. I did not know what to expect when I did this Google Hangout, but I want to say that I'm glad that I pressed and I went through with it because I know that this has been an awesome series. I know that this series has impact and changed some women's lives. And I know this because of the women who have been inboxing me, women who have been leaving comments and who've been saying that I really need a new beginning, and I never thought about some of the things that you really had talked about on this series. I am coming to you today from Las Vegas. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I am teaching at the Blacks in Government conference, and it's about five something here, and I have been having a phenomenal time. I taught a class. I've been here since Monday. I taught one class on yesterday. I taught one class today, and I have one more tomorrow, and I will be heading out. And I want to say that the people here are really hungry, and they're looking for personal development and professional development, how they can change and how they can live their best lives and be their best selves. And a lot of them are saying, I need to reboot and start over and have a new beginning because they're learning some things from all of the facilitators that are helping their lives. And I'm really happy to be a part of the big conference this year, and I'm happy to be a presenter helping to bring forth some things with some women and some men. Today, as we say goodbye to each other, and as we do the last series, we're going to talk a little bit about the power of choice. There's not going to be a lot of conversation about it, but I just want to talk about how it is important when we're talking about new beginnings and how it is important that you have to be made conscious and intentional decisions. But before I get into that, I'm going to let the ladies say hello to you because all the ladies are on the last call because you will have an opportunity to ask them any questions about their series that you might have some. And just in case this is your first, you're on this for the first time and you haven't watched all of the old ones to catch up, I'm going to highly suggest that you go back and catch up because after today they will be coming off of YouTube and I will be taking them down and I will be doing something different with the product. But if you haven't been with us since week 1, we have talked about embracing change and how you have to be willing to kind of go with the flow and embrace whatever new beginning that comes with you and see it as an opportunity for you to start over and for you to have a new direction in your life. We had Kiki Ramsey who came to us in week 2, and she talked about how you need to push past your fears and get courageous. Push past those fears and get courageous. So you think about these subjects in case you have any questions. And then in week 3, I talked about to thy own self be true, the importance of authenticity and knowing who you are and how to embrace that and to use that in your new beginning. Then in week 4, we had Lady Joy who came to us, who gave us a powerful lesson on making peace with your past and how forgiveness is an important piece to that and how we all need to use that, not just in new beginnings, but how you need that in every aspect of your life. And then in week 5, Gail came to us and she shared with us the 6 women that you need to have in your life. And she talked about the pros and the cons of those women. And we all need to have these women in our lives because we all need people to help us go to the next level wherever we're going in our lives. And tonight, yes, we're going to end it talking about exercising the power of choice. So before I get started, we're just going to let the ladies come and say hello. We're going to start with Kiki. Kiki, if you can just wave and say hello to the people. Hey, Kiki. Then Lady Joy. Lady Joy, if you could just wave and say hello to everybody. And yes, Miss Gail Crowder, can y'all say hello to Miss Gail Crowder? And Gail, say hello to the people. I have to take this time out because I couldn't do this by myself. Um, the idea to do a Google Hangout came from Gail. She did it with one of her programs with the wives that she worked with, and she came back to Kiki and I and said, you know, you all should try Google Hangout. This is something awesome. This is another way for you to reach the masses and for you to be impactful and take your mission to another level and touch more women with your message. And then Kiki did one, and we kind of follow suit with Gail, because when you see somebody who's doing something that's working well, you should glean from it and learn as much as you can and do it. So Kiki did hers, and she invited me to be a part of hers, and then I did mine. And we kind of did them kind of one behind each other, you know, so we could support each other and everything. And I just want to tell these ladies that I am so happy, honored, and blessed that you all decided to hang with me for 6 weeks, because they are busy women who are moving their business, their ministries, and doing things. And to take time out for 6 weeks to be on a call is a lot. An hour, they can be working with a client, they could be doing so many different things. And I'm looking forward to what Lady Joy is going to be doing, because she's going to be bringing some Bible studies and some different things for women to Google Hangout. So I'm excited. I thank you all. I appreciate it. I take nothing for granted. I know what your time is worth, and I'm so happy that you all have invested in me and in my mission and was here with me for this whole week. So Mooyah to all three of you ladies. I so appreciate you all. I really could take this whole hour and just talk about how much I appreciate you, because when Gail talked last week about the women that you need in your corner, these three women are in my corner. They are my cheerleaders. They really the ride or dies, though. I ain't gonna lie. They are the ride or die women. They are the ride or die. They gonna fight you. They really gonna fight you, but in a good way. So tonight, I want to talk about exercising the power of choice. This is something that we all do every day. This is something that none of us can get away from, exercising the power of choice. And I'm going to say Selah and pause right here, because I would be remiss if I don't do this. I have to thank the lady who is behind the scenes doing so many different things. Her name is Letitia, and Letitia has been working diligently with my crazy behind, who don't know how to do none of this Google Hangout stuff, to make sure that every week when we come to you all, that everything that needs to be up posted is done. She's making sure that my speakers are up, muted, whatever needs to be done. Letitia's doing it, and I so gratefully appreciate you, Letitia. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. And I'm so glad that I exercised the choice to hire Letitia to help me, because part of my success is because of Letitia. And that's when you have to, and when I talk about exercising the power of choice, that's about making conscious, intentional decisions. And this is not just something you make in a new beginning. This is something we all should be making every day of our lives. Conscious, intentional decisions. And in new beginnings, you're faced with a lot of decisions. And it depends on what your new beginning is. If it's from a new beginning of a job, retirement, divorce, grieving from the loss of someone, it's a lot of decisions that you have to make. And they have to be, and when I say conscious decisions, I mean that you have thought about the choices that you have, and you have weighed all the options, and the choice that you're going to make is a choice that's leading you towards some goal that you have in your life. I'm not just saying make a decision at whim, but I'm saying making a conscious decision that aligns with your purpose and where you're going in your life. And that's what making a conscious decision is. We all want something, and we all have to make a decision. Everybody wants to be successful, whatever success means to you. Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants their family to be healthy. You want to be healthy. You want to have money. We have so many decisions to make, but so often we don't make good decisions. And I know a lot of you, I mean, let's just use money as a example. You know you need to save money, but yet you keep spending money on things that you really don't need. We had a young lady on Kiki series, Big Dream series, named Terry Saleh, I believe I'm saying it correct, maybe not. But she talked about the Karma Club, and she was like, every woman should be in the Karma Club. And this Karma Club was really about every woman should have $1,000 in the bank. But we know that every woman doesn't have $1,000 in the bank, and it's for different reasons for why women don't. But she talked about how you could get this $1,000 in the bank. But she talked about how in order to be in this karma club, you have to make some conscious decisions so that you can say that you're in the karma club. So that means, now let me tell you, I'm here in Vegas. Whew. I love shoes. I have been in Jimmy Choo. I have been in Gucci, and I have been in Louis Vuitton. I have pulled my credit card out 4, 5, 50 times. But you all would be so proud, and I wish I could see you clapping, because guess what? I did not buy one pair of shoes. And I didn't buy a pair of shoes because I made some conscious decisions. I'm on a financial plan that I have a goal and a plan of how much money I want to have by the end of the year. And I had to make a choice, because when I looked at what my goal was at the beginning of the year and where I am now, I realized that I'm off the mark by a couple of $100. And in order for me to catch up and get to the number that I want to get to at the end of the year, I have to stop doing some of the things that I'm doing. So that means that I can't go out and eat dinner as much as I can. And the Jimmy Choo shoes that I saw that was $650 on sale for $300. I wish I could see it back in the back room. My speakers like, you better not have bought them. They shaking their head, they doing everything. I did not buy them. Even with the sale, the lady was making it so irresistible. But I know that was not going to be a good intentional decision. That would have been just an emotional decision to just feed the flesh, and it was not going to do anything for me. It wasn't going to help me with any of my financial goals. It wasn't going to help me with any spiritual goals, any personal development goals. All it really was going to do is help me look cute, and it was only going to help me look cute for the moment. So I had to make a decision. While being here, I've had to make so many decisions. Coming to Las Vegas, I sent the package through the U.S. Postal Service, and when I got to the post office, I was going to send it FedEx. So the lady was like, well, through U.S. Postal Service, you can get it at the same time for a half rate. So I made a conscious decision to go with the P.O. box, to go with the U.S. Postal Service. Can I tell you all, I'm regretting that decision now. I should have stuck with my first thought. I should have went with UPS. My package would have been here on Monday, and that would have saved me $65, because today I did not have enough handouts for my class. I had to run to a FedEx Kinko's, get a 6-page double-side package made, 25, and that cost me $65. And that's why I'm saying you have to make intentional, good decisions about every aspect of your lives. And most of the time, what most of us do is we make decisions. We're so reactive, and we're making decisions as a reaction when we shouldn't be. And that's where we fall short. And yes, when I tell y'all, when I had to pay that $65, I really wanted to cry. I was thankful I had the $65 and that I could do it. But I thought about, Tawawn, you made a decision when you went to the post office on Saturday to do FedEx. You should have stuck with FedEx and stopped looking for a cheaper way to get around it, because I'm paying now for that cheaper way because I didn't stick with a decision that I knew was a very good decision at the time. And so what I want to leave you with, like I said, this was not going to be a long conversation. The conversation is that you just have to make conscious decisions and be clear about what it is that you want, the direction you are going, and not let your decisions be made based because it's a reaction to something. We should not always be reacting, but we should be proactive in taking action, and that's how our decisions should be made, in taking action and not having to have to react. Because truthfully, the decision I had to make later to pay $65 was a reaction. Part of me wanted to say, I'm going to go to this class, and those who don't have the handout just don't have the handout, but I can't do that with my business. So I had to make a conscious decision. Do I want to represent my business well? So, and if that's the case, I have to pay this additional $65. And can I tell you, after I paid the $65, and I said to myself, I bet you as soon as I get back and I come from the class, my package going to be here. I went downstairs, I called the office, guess what? They brought me my package. I want you to know my box looked like it had been in a fight. It was bust open. It looked like so many things that was going on. And then when the man brought the package to me, he said, There's an additional $15 for us to deliver it. I said, excuse me? Now, my spirit wanted to be reactive. And I'm already pissed because I was supposed to have this package on Monday. It is now Tuesday. I have missed 2 opportunities to use what was in my package. But I had to make another conscious, intentional decision. Am I going to go off on this gentleman who's getting ready to try to charge me $15? Or am I going to be reactive? Or am I going to have a different type of response? And I chose not to be reactive, because when I say my spirit welled up, I was getting ready to light him. Now, I think y'all might have remembered, we laughed and joked about this maybe in series number 3, that I could be a cuthologist. So I was really trying not to let that piece of me well up, because I'm working on that, and that's not how I want to be presented and represented in my business. So one of the things I said to the gentleman, I said, Mister, I don't understand the purpose of this charge, but if you could let me speak to someone that I can resolve this issue, I think that we can get this resolved very quickly. I made a different decision, power of choice. See, I told all my kids, I've raised about 5 girls, and I told them life is choice driven. There will always be a choice has to be made, and there will always be consequences, and the consequences will depend on what choice you make. I could have chose to go off on that gentleman and blast him based on what the hotel requires them to charge, or I could have taken a different avenue, which I did, and I asked to speak to the manager. I spoke to the manager. I explained my situation. I explained everything that I did, and you know what she said? Thank you, ma'am. Your fee has been waived. We will not charge you the $15. Then she said, we are so sorry for the inconvenience. I will give you a $25 gift card for dinner on us because you paid the $65 when I come. Now, I know some of y'all probably saying, now I'm going to tell you, none of that would have been given had I cussed him out. Exercising the power of choice. I had to choose how I was going to react to this situation and what kind of response I was going to give, and what did I want in return. And what I wanted in return was way more favorable than cussing this man out because I was mad because I'm getting my packages 2 days later. It was also a teachable moment for me. When I do big conference next year, because I proclaimed that I will be doing big conference, and I'm proclaiming now that Kiki, Ramsey, and Gail Crowder and Joy will be with me in Atlanta as we teach at the big conference on next year, that what we're going to know is we will make sure that our package is there by FedEx. We're not trusting the postal service, because they're going to learn from my example. We're not trusting the postal service, and we might even put it in our luggage and just drag it across the airport. It just all depends. But this has been a teachable moment for me to make some different choices when I go speak, so I won't ever be in this bind again. Because I have shipped things to hotels before and never had a problem. This is the first time, but I've always shipped using FedEx because I know FedEx stand by what they say. So, in the power of choice, what I'm going to leave you with tonight is this. Always remember that every day you have an opportunity to make choices. And you need to make the choices that are best for you and best for your life and where you're trying to go. When you make your choices in emotions and feelings, you will always make the bad choice. Because when you make your decisions based on how you feel, feelings are fleeting. They come and go. They don't last long. I was mad for about 15 to 20 minutes when that man brought me my package, and I was mad, but I could not let my feelings of being mad be the driving dictator for the end result of what I wanted. And the end result was I did not want to pay that $15. And I wanted my package. So I want to say to you, do not make decisions in your feelings. I know that we're often in new beginnings. We're dealing with so many different situations. It might be divorce. I have really had a lot of ladies who have reached out to me who have lost loved ones and things like that. And they was, and children, and they were saying, Tawawn, it's kind of hard, some of the things that you're teaching. But even in loss, you have to make a decision. You have to make a choice to grieve. Some of us try not to even go through the grieving process when we're doing things. So sometimes you have to just make the conscious decision that I will allow myself to go through the grieving process so that I can become healthy and whole and start moving to another level, because the grieving process also takes time. So if you're grieving the loss of a job, the loss of a spouse, through death, through divorce, um, having to be being retired and starting all over, just use make good intentional decisions, conscious intentional decisions. Don't let your feelings be the driving dictator to your choices that you make. And if you're not sure how to make choices, don't be scared to reach out and ask someone that you can truly trust and you know that will impart some good wisdom to you, to say, I have to make some decisions, and can you kind of give me your thoughts about it? Not that you want them to make the decision for you, but you want them to help you to see it with a clear vision. So I'm going to end that now about it. Like I said, this was not going to be a long session, because what I want to do is provide you all opportunities to ask any of the panel members, questions that you might have about any of the subjects. And I want you to remember, you made a choice to be a part of the New Beginning series. When Kiki came, she said, in order to deal with your fears, you have to confront them. Confronting your fears starts with a choice. Joy said, in order to make peace with your past, you have to learn how to exercise self-forgiveness. That starts with a choice. Gail talked about the 6, 7 women that you should have in your life and the pros and cons. And we had people come back and ask us, well, if people have hurt you, what should you do? You have to make choices about whether you want to keep that person in your life. You have to make choices about if you want to your own self be true. You have to make choices about if you're going to embrace whatever change life brings you. Every day you will be faced with numerous of choices. Let them be conscious, intentional choices that you make. If you have any questions, we're going to now open. Well, before we open the floor, Letitia, I want to know, can you put the flyer up? Because I do have an offer. When I first talked to you all, I told you that I have a movement called Women Walking in Their Own Shoes. And I'm getting super excited because we're getting ready for our 3rd annual summit in October 17th and the 18th. And I'm really excited about this year because guess what? October has been proclaimed and recognized as Women Walking in Their Own Shoes Month. So that's, yes, somebody has said that this movement is so important that we will let a month be recognized, a whole 31 days for us to recognize how important it is for self-development, professional development, how to pour into us. And I want you to know this is going to be a phenomenal summit. And if you have liked any of the speakers, Kiki is going to be a speaker. I haven't told her yet, but we get ready to do a tag team on day 1 that is going to be no joke. You're going to be like, I don't know where it's coming from, high on high. We're going to be walking in the anointing, the spirit, and everything else that come. When you see it, you're going to be like, I've never seen a conference where they have tagged and did what we're going to do as we talk about fear and dealing with it. So if you like what Kiki has given you, if you like anything that I have taught and talked about, trust me, the first day you're not going to want to miss it. The first 2 hours we are bringing it on. Then if you like anything that has come from Gail, Miss Gail Crowder will be there. And and I have yet to figure out how I'm going to use Gail. I was thinking about having her talk about them 7 women, but God has really been placing on my heart to do a segment called Speak on It, where I'm going to have some of my panel members let the women come, and we're going to be honest and have some transparent conversation about some of the things that are keeping women from being their best selves. So the offer that I have, and we have so many other speakers, and I'm praying that Lady Joy will be able to come up and join us, but I think she also has a conference coming up, and I'm not sure if it's September or October, but I know she has one coming up, but I'm praying that she's going to come up and be able to be with us as well. But the offer that I have for you, for big, I am offering the attendees here to come to this conference $147. Right now, for the early bird price, it is $197. And I'm telling you, the day and a half is going to be worth the $197. Let me tell you what you're going to get. We have, I think, 6 different panels. We're talking about women and their money. We're talking about confronting your fears and moving past them. We're talking about branding and being authentic and having your own identity, branding yourself and having your own brand. We're talking about debunking the myths, the beauty and the health myth that keep women from being their best selves. We have so many segments, so I'm encouraging you, if you would like to come to this, I am offering you to be able to take advantage of this at the price of $147, and that price is good between now. It's 24 hours on this price of $147. If you're interested in taking advantage of that, you can email me at info@tawawnlowe.com and tell me that you were part of the New Beginning series, and I will honor the 147. But you have 24 hours from today, when we end at 9:30, to take advantage of this offer. So I hope you'll be there. The offer does include, we're having a pink carpet network. We're having the first African American impressionist who's going to be there. The many faces of Sylvia Tremore. She came last year and she was hilarious. She was really funny. She brought to the table Wendy Williams, Diana Ross, Michelle Obama. I mean, she did so many different characters. She was really funny. And to be in her midst, I said the first African American female impressionist. She has broke through barriers that most African American women have not been able to break through. And I mean, there's African American comedians, but we're talking about an impressionist, and she is really wonderful. I want you to come walk the pink carpet. I have a DJ called DJ Lowe. He knows how to play and crank the music. And if you like getting your party on, I wish I could see my speakers in the background. They're getting their party on because they're remembering last year, woo, we had a ball. So I would like for you to join us. This will be a transformational event. And you want to come because I can guarantee you that when you come, Kiki's going to have a deal for you to attend her Get Courageous event. And Gail is going to have a deal for you to come to Bringing Sexy Back in 2015. I'm telling you, personal development should be one of your number one goals, to living your best life and being your best self. I hope you take advantage. I hope to see you at the Women Walking in Your Own Shoe movement. If that's something that you can't do, I ask that you just go to the page, you look at the page, see what's going on, and take the Women Walking in Their Own Shoe pledge. We have a pledge which you pledge to yourself to live your best life and be your best self. I'm now going to open up for questions. And I think I saw one. Tawawn, where do you get support when you don't know which direction to go? I like that question because I kind of got a question like that in one of my classes today. One of the things that I believe every person should do is self-invest. And when I say self-invest, I mean that you need to get a coach, a mentor, somebody to help keep you accountable. And it depends on what you're doing. When you say when you need directions, if you're saying that you just don't know what you want to do with your life, you're ready to reboot and start over and do something, get a coach. There are life coaches out here who can help you. Contact me. I'm a life coach. I can help you. If fear is something that's just really standing in your way and you cannot move forward, reach out to Kiki Ramsey. She can help you push past your fears. Gail will soon be having a mentorship program coming up for women and helping women and deal with issues in marriage. She will be having it coming up within the next 60 days. So if that's something you're looking for, that's what you need to do. But invest in somebody. There are life coaches. There are coaches that can help you in every aspect of your life. If you're ready to reboot, start over, you have goals that you want to set, contact me. Do a 90-minute consultation with me and let me see how I can take you to the next level. But don't be scared to get a coach. Don't be scared to say, I don't want to spend the money. You are worth the self-investment. You are worth whatever it takes to get you to the next level or whatever that level wants to be for your life. So my recommendation would be to look into a coach. And if coaching is something that is not financially feasible to you, look into finding some type of mentor, get into a program where they have mentorship at work and things like that. But always get somebody who can help you at a professional level. We want to do everything on our own, but sometimes we need to do things we need to seek other people who have the skill set to help us and move us in that way. And while I am a coach, can I please tell you that I also have coaches? I'm continuously investing in myself because to get to the next level, I still need people to help propel me as well. I need people to teach me things that I don't know, like marketing and things of that nature. So, the next meeting is starting now. Some things popping up on the screen that I have no idea what they are. So I'm okay. I don't know what that was. Okay, it's gone. So do we have any other questions? I hope that I have answered that question. Okay, question for Joy with self-forgiveness. What can I do to heal my heart? I have talked to my pastor and I still do not feel rest. Okay, that's a question for Joy, and I'm gonna let Joy answer. So, Letitia, I'm gonna ask you to unmute or ask all the speakers to unmute themselves, but I also want to give an answer to that as well. We just talked about the power, exercising the power of choice. If you want to heal your heart, then you have to make a decision to heal your heart. And once you make that decision, then you have to do the work to heal your heart. It really starts with a choice. And then I'm going to let Joy, go ahead, Joy, and I'm going to let you finish answering that question.
Hello, to whoever asked that question. I am assuming that you have a relationship with Jesus because you said you talked to your pastor, but you still do not feel rest. As a Christian, you know that if you have repented and you ask for forgiveness, you ask God to forgive you, that His forgiveness is given. The Bible says He is faithful and just to forgive. So if you truly believe His word, then you should know that you have been forgiven for that offense, whatever it was. Doesn't make any difference how bad you think it is. God has forgiven you. And as Tawawn just stated, and I stated in the class that I taught, the Bible never tells us to forgive ourselves. He doesn't give us that directive. He tells us to forgive others. But there is a principle, and I stated that in the class as well, that you will treat other people the way you treat yourself. So if you're having difficulty forgiving yourself, you're probably struggling with forgiving other people. And a key to this is you do have to choose to forgive. There's a story in the Bible where there's a person at the beautiful gate, and the question is posed to them, do you want to be made whole? And I pose that same question to you. Do you want to be made whole? Will you do what you need to do to be made whole? And the key to it is all you have to do is believe God's word. If you believe He has forgiven you, then you should be able to forgive yourself. If you continue to hold on to that, whatever the offense was, and dog yourself, then you are allowing yourself to be manipulated by the enemy. When you choose to do something that's contrary to what God has already settled, then you are placing yourself above God. You have, in one sense, become your own God. So again, accept His forgiveness, and in doing that, all you're doing is truly, truly putting your trust and belief in His word. The Bible says if you have asked Him for forgiveness, He will do that. And that is because Jesus' blood covers that offense. God knew that you were going to do it before the beginning of time, and He was already ready to forgive you. So
thank you, Joy.
just
What happened to Joy? Did she disappear? Well, thank you, Lady Joy. We have a question for Kiki. Kiki, fear is one of the things that really keep people from their full potential. What is the first step to confronting your fears? Unmute. Can you unmute Kiki? Unmute yourself, or can Kiki be unmuted, please? Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Tawawn, for that. Fear is that one thing that can keep us back. But the first thing that you have to do as it pertains to fear, if you really do want to overcome fear, is you need to actually acknowledge that you have fear. And so I work with so many women, and a lot of times fear is just one of those things that we don't want to acknowledge is in our lives. We might be scared about a new opportunity, but we're like, I ain't scared, because we as women, we've been taught to actually mask that, because we don't want to show our true vulnerability to the world, because we're scared we're going to look weak and not strong. But if you do not first acknowledge fear, how can you confront anything that you don't acknowledge? So I know for me in my life, can you take the fan off? I know for me in my life, I had to truly acknowledge that I was scared to death, especially when I started my business. I was scared to death to start my business. I was so scared. I was scared that people wasn't going to come. I was scared that I was going to have no customers. I was scared that people didn't want to hear what I had to say. I was scared on every front. And for a moment, I would say, I ain't scared. I don't care about what people think and all those things, but it wasn't true. I was scared, and I cared about what people said about me. But it wasn't until I actually acknowledged that I had those fears, that I was scared about what people were going to say, what people were going to do, that I actually was able to handle and turn that around. So the first step is just to acknowledge that you have it, confront it head on. When you're able to do that, you can build the courage to walk through that fear so that you can overcome it.
Okay, thank you, Kiki. I have another question to add to that, Kiki. Once you acknowledged it, you then made a choice.
Absolutely.
You then made a choice. And I just want to drive that point where you always are in a place where you're going to have to make choices. And when you came to it, you had to make a very conscious choice about what is more greater, my goal or my fear.
Absolutely.
And we can tell that you chose that your goal was way more important. So you made an intentional decision about how you were going to deal with your fear. And that's the same for the ladies who are listening here, and who will ever listen to this. When I say exercise the power of choice, you have to make powerful, intentional decisions. Because the truth of the matter, Kiki would have never made that choice. She would not be here on this Google Hangout teaching on new beginnings with us. All this became from a choice, and it really was a choice to step out of a comfort zone into another uncomfortable place, even though she was comfortable with fear, but she had to go to another uncomfortable place, and she probably knew that. And that's sometimes you have to, in making choices, you have to realize, even though you're choosing to step out of one comfort zone, you're going to step into another uncomfortable zone that you're not really sure about, but you have to be willing to take the risk, because that risk might really get you to where you're trying to go. So not be scared. So I just wanted to add that, and I want to thank you, Kiki.
I
You have
also want
anything
to
else?
just add, also, what we don't realize is that not making a choice is making a choice.
Yes, it is.
So if you say, well, I ain't gonna make a decision about it. You've made a decision about it. You've made a decision not to do something about it. And you're making a decision to let whatever happens, happens. And so if the roof caves in, you made a decision that you don't care that the roof caves in. So women have to realize that when you do not make a choice, you make a choice. You make that decision regardless of whether you want it to or not. You're just not having power in that choice. So you can choose to say, okay, I'm going to wait and I'm not going to do anything about it. But that decision, you still have power. If you say, I'm just not going to do nothing about it, I ain't going to make that decision, that doesn't hold any power.
And that's very true. And I'm just looking over at my piece of paper, the one point that I left off in my teaching because it was stuck up under something. But when you don't make a choice, you really do make a choice. And it's very interesting because I shared a lot with you all throughout this series about being married and my husband leaving me. And, we had some issues to deal with, like with home and things like that. And, I kept reaching out to him saying, can you take care of this? Can you take care of that? And he kind of did nothing. So I started making decisions. And it's interesting because we had a conversation not too long ago. And he said, you just made these decisions. I said, I made the decisions because you made no decision. I said, the moment you chose not to acknowledge the questions that I was asking and to give me a response, your non-response was a response. And that non-response stripped you of your power and gave me the power to do whatever needed to be done. And now you have to deal with those consequences because you chose not to make a choice. So thank you, Kiki, because I totally forgot I had 3 points, and that was one of the key ones. So y'all forgive me, charge it to my head, not my heart. But that is true. And a lot of times people always say, I really don't have a choice. You always have a choice.
Always.
We always have a choice. Just like right now, people should be flooding this to get your questions answered for free, because every woman on here charges for you to answer questions, because that's a part of their business. So you should be making a choice. The questions, make yourself vulnerable. We can't see, I'm not calling nobody names. I'm not saying who asked this question. We're just putting the questions out here. Like, I'm getting ready to ask this question now. Thank you, Kiki, so much. I appreciate it. This next question is for Gail. So if we can unmute Gail. And the question says, Gail, I feel I cannot trust most women around me. Can I do it with little to can I do it? Can I do it with little to no women involved in my life? It seems like most women let me down. And can I just say one thing, Gail, before you answer this question? If that's your expectation, that's what you will get. Every woman will not always let you down, but you're already talking about an expectation that it probably haven't even happened with every woman in your life. You have to make a choice that you're going to be willing to trust that some women will come in your life and some women will bring good and some women will bring negative, and you have to have the discernment to be able to see who they are and to be able to work in it. So Gail, I want you to go ahead and finish and answer that question, but it is a choice about, and maybe some of what women bring into their life is because of some of the choices you make, because you already have a preconceived thought in your head about how women are. So what you're saying is, this is what women are going to bring to me. So, of course, sometimes you get what you ask for or what you're thinking.
And
Go ahead,
Tawawn,
Gail.
I just want to say that, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. What I want to say is so true. The expectation that we put on other people when it comes to relationships. Sometimes we think that people are letting us down because we have a certain expectation going into the relationship. I had to really get over, because I am a true giver. My nature is to give. And I know you, Kiki, Joy, everybody gets on me about giving away the kitchen sink. You know, and when I become a multimillionaire, bringing sexy back to the marriage will be a free conference for women all over the world. And I already have said that. So God's got to do it in order for it to come to fruition. But when it comes to that, I used to come to the table because I'm a giver, and when people didn't give back to me, then my feelings would get hurt. And the expectation is that people heart is to give just like my heart is to give. And I realized that